Hey, what's up guys, my name is Cherno and welcome to episode 25 of the Sparky Game Engine series. So this is the big episode. We're a quarter of the way to 100 episodes, but that's besides the point. The point is that this episode we're going to be compiling Sparky to run inside a web browser. Now, this is a risky process. It will work, but the journey is quite extreme. It's like a movie trilogy, but in this one episode. It's really epic, and hopefully we get there today. I mean, there's 3 hours left of today, so hopefully we arrive there shortly. But it will be quite a ride, and I'm excited. So what we had last time was this magnificent game where we have this face. I've called this game in my mind. I've called it Find the Face because, well, here it is. We found it. Unfortunately, it's going to be in the same spot every time. So again, the replay value is probably not that great. But the Easter egg as well is the fact that there's an FPS counter, but you can't see it. It's pretty cool, really. I like this game. Anyway, this is what we made last time. And we made, apart from cleaning up our project, we made this Sparky class, which is going to kind of be the main, it's going to contain the main loop and how everything runs, okay? So all we have to do really, as you can see here, is not even a lot. We have this main function, which of course is the entry point of our program. We just create this game class, which just simply extends or inherits or derives from Sparky, okay? Or has Sparky as a superclass. And then we just set everything up how we want, and everything like tick, update, render happens by itself appropriately, and there's very, very little extra kind of bloated and boilerplate code over here. All right. So yeah, that's the idea. So we had all that system, and I really liked it. I thought it was fantastic. And that being said, it was critical to do Sparky, to make Sparky this sparky.h header file, not just because it makes everything so convenient, but also because it means that we can easily kind of configure this to work with a web kind of JavaScript-based loop without having to affect our game. So our game still gets written the same way. Nothing changes. It's just that in Sparky, based on what we're compiling for, we'll have different things being set up. So the main thing that's going to power this adventure is going to be something called Emscripten. And I mentioned this in the very first episode, in the introduction episode. In the introductory episode to this series. So Emscripten is a fantastic LLVM to JavaScript compiler. The short story of what it does is it takes your C/C++ code and compiles it into JavaScript. It's amazing. It's quite scary how it does it, but it works. And it even does crazy things like embeds files into JavaScript. So if you've got resources, don't worry about that. The only thing that we will have to change, apart from, well, we'll have to set it up properly, obviously, but the only thing we'll actually have to change in terms of our game, our API, is going to be audio, because it's just much simpler to handle audio through just JavaScript. Like if we just go new audio and then audio.play, that's all we need to do in JavaScript to get it to work, right? It's so easy. It's not something that we should bother doing something like compiling a Gorilla Audio, which isn't even going to work. Anyway, it's complicated, and yeah, so we'll have to rewrite the audio API. That's fine. Emscripten allows us to write JavaScript inside of our C++ using certain macros, which is fantastic. But the point is, this is going to be a lot of fun. Now, I have done this before. In fact, Cherno.best is kind of a website in which I've done a few experiments with Emscripten. So this is Sparky running in WebGL. This is a different kind of demo. I don't actually remember what's here. Hopefully it actually works. Yeah, it does. So we've got a bit of font rendering going on and this basic thing. And this is actually just running Sparky. You can see it's doing a bunch of stuff here. So I have done this before. I've got a few bash files and whatnot that I've prepared so that this episode doesn't go on for a year, because it has taken me weeks to get this to work properly. But it does, which is the amazing part. But we're going to go through everything step by step this episode, so don't worry. If you guys are interested in how this is going to work, you will see everything. Okay, let's begin. So the first thing we should do is download Emscripten. So if we just click on this like Emscripten logo, I assume it will take us not to the image, great, to the main project page, emscripten.org. That's where we want to go. So what we'll do is we will download and install the SDK. We're going to find the Emscripten SDK web installer. It doesn't really matter which one you choose. I'll choose the web installer. Offline will do the same thing. Hopefully my internet speed here won't delay this episode further. But we need to grab that. And then I recommend, if you guys are going to be doing a lot of this stuff yourself, you think you might want to use Emscripten for your C++ projects, I would probably recommend reading through this documentation. It's really good. This has been my primary reference for everything. And it's very detailed, and everything just seems to work with Emscripten. It's quite weird. It's one of those rare things that just works. So let's install it. Yeah, I'll just install it to program files Emscripten. Well, that was quick. Oh no, it's going to have to install stuff like Clang right now, which is an LLVM compiler, which is it's going to use to compile our C++ code into LLVM so that we can then Emscripten it. But that might take a little while. So while that's going on, let's talk about how we're going to set up our project to react differently to whether or not it's being basically compiled for the web. So the idea of this whole thing is that you should be you should be changing nothing in game. Game is like I like to call it client-side code, whereas the engine is kind of server-side code in a way. All it means is that game is something that you create outside of the engine, and all the internal core stuff, which is in Sparky core. The only reason I've put game and stuff in here rather than Sparky core is just to keep this nice and simple. But obviously Sparky core itself will only contain what's in the source folder. It doesn't contain stuff like, in fact, where is game? That's what I was wondering about. That, oh, it's in examples. That's right. We popped it into examples. Okay, cool. So yes, only the stuff that's in source and ext, that is the only source code that is part of Sparky. Everything else is not part of Sparky at all. Okay, so that's an important thing to note as well. Okay, cool. So how are we going on this? Okay, this will take a while. While that's going on, let's talk about this. So we need to rewrite a few things apart from audio. But audio is like this massive API thing that we actually have to rewrite, and we actually have to rewrite it in JavaScript. But more importantly, we've got a few things we need to adjust. Namely, things like, if we go to window, for example, we're using things like glue. Clearly, glue is not something that we're going to be able to use. The reason is this is just for Windows. It's just, well, not just for Windows, it's just for desktop. It's not really something that, remember, OpenGL on the web isn't really OpenGL, it's WebGL. And WebGL is something completely different, okay? WebGL, and Emscripten particularly, roughly emulates GLES, which is OpenGL ES, or Embedded Systems, which is like the mobile version of OpenGL. But all of that stuff, luckily, is included to us in Emscripten's headers. If we go for a quick browse here, if we open up our computer, go to our C drive, program files, Emscripten, inside Emscripten, in 1.2.9 or whatever, we'll see inside system and include all this cool stuff like GLES3, for example. And you can see that this header file, if we just open it with Sublime Text or something, we'll see that this header file actually contains pretty much all of everything we need. So the point is, Emscripten actually comes with all of the OpenGL functions we will be using. So that's really nice. We don't even need to really use GLFW. The other great thing is Emscripten supports GLFW out of the box. It supports a lot of things out of the box. Stuff like things just work with it, as I said. It's quite weird and quite scary, but things just work. So in terms of GLFW and SDL as well, it actually just supports, there are like modes to build those applications. So that's really quite amazing. Anyway, so yes, but what we have to do is obviously stuff like glue, and particularly our main game loop, since it has to be transformed into like a JavaScript kind of loop. That stuff will have to only exist in the case that we're compiling for Emscripten, right? If we're just doing it on Windows or Mac or Linux or whatever, it shouldn't run that code. So what we need to do is we need to set up a few macros which basically enable certain parts of our code based on whether or not it's being compiled for Emscripten, okay? So to do that, the first thing I'm going to do is under debug, okay, in this in this, like, what is this thing called? Solution configurations. Under the configuration manager, I'm just going to add a new configuration called Emscripten, okay? The reason I'm doing this is just, we're never actually going to compile this using Visual Studio. It's nice to do this because it will just enable basically one macro with it. So we'll copy settings from probably release. Again, we're not going to compile this ever. And we'll close this. So the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Sparky Core, right-click Properties, and then under Emscripten, I'm just going to, over here under the preprocessor, define a preprocessor definition here called Sparky underscore Emscripten. Okay? We might just shorten that to M. No, that's weird. Sparky underscore Emscripten. Okay? So this macro is something that we'll just define for Emscripten. Again, we're not going to use this Emscripten configuration to compile for Emscripten. I'm just making it here so that we can have this macro enabled and we can see what bits of code are being used and we get some kind of like compiler passing and whatnot, so we can pick up any errors that we made. But when we compile it using Emscripten, we'll have to pass in that thing manually. Okay, so now we can go to, like, for example, window.h, and we can say, we can bring this out, I don't know, like anywhere, here for example, and we can say if def Sparky Emscripten include, so we'll just do if ndef, oh no, okay, we'll do if def Sparky underscore Emscripten, Emsparkum, that could work. But anyway, I'm just responding to the stream chat. So if Sparky Emscripten will basically include Emscripten's headers, okay, otherwise we'll include clue. So what this flag is, for those of you who are not aware, is this is a preprocessor definition, which means it runs before our code is compiled, and it basically says if defined. So if this at all is somewhere defined, it doesn't matter what it's defined as. It's a bit different than if we just did if, which would mean it'd have to be a value. So with if, we could have it defined but set to 0, which would mean that code would be off and this would be on, right? But if it's like 1 or something, then this would be off and that would be on. But I'm just saying if it's defined at all, which is what we've got in our preprocessor definitions, then do the following code. And the reason I'm explaining this so much in detail is because we're waiting for this stuff to finish. So I've got time anyway. But yeah, so that's the idea. So what do we want to do? We want to include Emscripten. So I'll wait for it to probably finish installing because, yeah, see, it's installing 1.3. So I had 1.29 installed before on my computer. So this is a newer version. Okay, cool. So yes, but we'll be basically including Emscripten, which will probably be in, I think, Emscripten / emscripten.h or something. I don't know. There'll be some stuff that we include. Don't you worry. Yeah. So that's kind of the way this stuff is going to work. We probably don't actually need to... Oh, one thing we do need to do actually is... We probably don't need to do this particularly, but we do need to define glfw include ES3, okay, which will tell glfw, which we still need to include. We'll have to do this under here, but we'll still need to do that. glfw is still needed, obviously, from Emscripten. This is just going to tell it to include the appropriate headers for OpenGL ES3, which is basically kind of what we're going to be basing our thing on. The other thing I should mention is that we're going to have to rewrite all of our shaders. We've only got one fragment and one vertex shader to rewrite, but we have to rewrite our shaders to be OpenGL ES as well. That's going to be something else that you need to do manually. Everything else should be automated though. How are you doing? Come on, hurry up. It's just stuck on 32%. Like, come on. I'm trying to record an episode here. Ugh. Okay, anyway. Yeah, let's just begin. I know roughly what I'm doing because, again, I've done it before. But we basically just need to look for, in the current project, not that it matters, they're offline anyway. But in the current project, we'll look for glue.h. So FreeType we're going to compile separately. Okay, so that's one thing I should mention. FreeType, FreeType GL, and FreeImage, and I think that's it. Yeah, FreeType, FreeType and FreeType GL and FreeImage we're going to compile separately. It's not going to be part of the one compilation. Then we'll simply link them. So I'll go through this workflow once Emscripten is downloaded. This looks like it's just frozen, which is not good because hurry up, do something. Oh, okay, I somehow froze it by, I guess Mark freezes it. Wow, whoops. Anyway, so yeah, so anywhere where we see glue, we basically need to not do that. Now buffer, does that stuff actually get used anywhere? I'm not sure that it does, because I'm pretty sure our renderers do that ourselves. So let me just search for buffer.h. So renderable includes it. So index buffer I know is used, but it doesn't seem like vertex array is. Let's just get rid of vertex array and buffer. I probably won't get rid of them. Yeah, you know what? I'll keep everything as is. We won't start getting rid of stuff here, but we'll say if def Sparky Emscripten else and if. Okay? So in this case, because it's probably going to need this stuff, we can just say we'll actually tell it to include the Sparky. We'll tell it to include the Emscripten header, I'm guessing. So we'll wait a bit for that. So window, we sorted that out. Yes, we did. Let's look for more occurrences of glue. So window did it. Okay, so texture does it. And then this, yeah, again, we'll go if def Sparky Emscripten else and if. Okay, so again, I'm just waiting for this stuff to do stuff. Almost done, hopefully. Hopefully this is the last thing it does. Possibly. What else? So FreeImage will stay the same. Shader.h does it. So I'm wrapping this stuff in just macros basically now. It's not too difficult, but this stuff is going to get a lot more intense in a minute. Okay, so now it's appending stuff to path. Good. That means it's almost done. Okay, if def Sparky Emscripten else and if. All right. And that's what? That's vertex array. And index array. Okay, almost done. Target is already present in path. It will be removed in appended path. Good. Okay, so it knows of, because I had a different version installed as well, so I had to update it anyway. Okay, cool. This looks good. So this stuff, as you can see, is only if Win32 and whatnot are defined, which is not something that will probably happen when we do the compilation for Emscripten. So we'll see how it handles FreeType. Oh, I probably need to get a version of FreeType that is compatible actually with Emscripten, because I believe it's a bit different. Yes. Let's quickly check that out, because I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying what I'm saying. Okay, so FreeType Emscripten. So luckily, if you Google like a library followed by Emscripten, you'll probably find something. So this is the one I think I got. So I'm going to just download this, and then I'm going to basically replace our copy of, not our copy, but we'll additionally, so we'll have this additional copy of FreeType specifically for Emscripten. It's because it is 2.5.0. It's a bit behind, not too much behind. You can see it's 2 years old. 10 years ago though, that was the first time it. Wow, that feels like such a long time ago. I was half my age back then. Anyway, so let's so the other thing is FreeImage Emscripten. Oh, we don't really need FreeImage. We just need the source code to FreeImage. So we go to download. There's the source distribution. Because we don't have the source code to FreeImage right now. we've got, and it would have installed 1.3.0, good. So we'll go into here, we'll go into system include, okay? We'll copy that path, and we'll go into Sparky core, and for the Emscripten configuration, into VC++ directories, into include directories, we'll add that in, okay? So that should be at the same place for you, provided you've got 1.3.0. Okay, anyway, so now that we've done this stuff is going to kind of fail us, but we can include, I'm not sure if Emscripten's headers, I doubt they will have, yeah, I didn't think they would. I wonder what I used. I think I might have just used something like, yeah, I would have just, I don't remember, I think I probably just would have used this. So let's do that. So in this case, we don't want to, we'll define this, and then we'll include glfw. So glfw slash glfw3. 3, that's the one I want, right? Yeah, I think so. So we're not including this stuff, we're just including glue for other cases, but in this case we're doing this. So now let's go through all these again and include this where needed. So it was that, I didn't have to wait for it to install, lols. And this is done, yeah, great. So stay, look at this. Stay, there we go. Fighting with Visual Studio. I like indenting these macros. It makes them a bit more readable than just a chunk of text. Okay. Everything's looking good. So, yeah. Okay, looking pretty good. Looks like I misspelt. Thank you, stream. Emscripten there. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now, window is going to need some additional stuff as well. You can see we're doing our init, we're doing our glue OK stuff and whatnot, and initializing glue. If not defined Sparky Emscripten, we need to do that. Otherwise, we don't. Okay, so we only do that if we're not compiling for Emscripten. Okay, anything else here that we shouldn't be doing? Not really. Everything else looks pretty good to me. We're doing our font stuff. Our font paths may need to be refactored based on that as well. I will, we'll work that out once we get stuff being compiled there. Okay, cool. So the majority of the changes are actually going to be in game, because we need, we basically need our loop to be kind of a web-based loop, and luckily Emscripten and whatnot will actually handle that stuff for us. So in Sparky, let's do this. First of all, at the very top, I'll say, other stuff. If Sparky Emscripten is defined, we're going to include Emscripten. Okay. I forgot the M again. Oops. That's important because we're going to be using Emscripten specific code here. So what we essentially want to do is a few things. The main thing we want to do is this loop. Okay. Our goal to make stuff loop like this in Emscripten is going to be to basically use something called Emscripten set main loop. So yeah, so you can see we've got a bunch of stuff here. So we need a callback function, which is going to be our main, which we'll create in a minute. What? Okay, hang on. Callback function and then arguments. Okay, yeah, and then FPS, which if we set to 0 will be as much as possible, I think. Although it'll probably get vsync, but anyway. Infinite loop, yes, so true. Okay, so the main things we need to set up are essentially some kind of function pointer towards our yeah. Okay, so this is what we need. We need a function pointer towards our thing. So what we'll do is this. This is our while loop and whatnot, and I think that generally works pretty well. But because since this will I think from memory this will keep running our loop. What we need to do is we need to say that if Sparky Emscripten is defined, then all of this code here in the scope is basically going to be just part of a function that we're going to create here by using std function. Okay, so if we create an std function, it's going to be a void function that this is just our loop. I'll call it something like main loop. We'll set it equal to, so we'll pass things by reference, and so this is essentially a lambda. It's just basically a function as a variable. Think of it that way, I guess. Otherwise, we'll just do this. Oops. Okay, so looks pretty good. We'll fix this up in a minute. And we do that all the way up until the end. So the end is here. So again, if else, so we'll close the bracket, and then over here we'll have to close the bracket with a thing, and then actually this should be here as well because we just dispatch it straight away. Okay, so this is being all sad. First of all, why are you Emscripten set main loop? Oh, it's probably because I forgot this. Okay, and we actually need the function that calls it as well. So we'll make a up here. So if def Sparky Emscripten, so up here we will we'll have a static void. We'll just call it like, it doesn't have to be static, but we'll call it dispatch main. So this will dispatch it. This will actually run it, and then all we want to do here is we'll pass a function pointer. Func. Yeah, and all we want to do is call whatever function we pass in here. This is a really simple way to just get it to work. We probably could have done this inline in there, but anyway. And we'll just say, so we'll just grab the function from the function pointer. So std function, what was it? Void. FP function pointer, and we'll call this func equals. So we have to cast it to that pointer, fn or fp, and then we'll just call it. So to call the function, we need to dereference func, and that's it. And it takes in no parameters. This syntax is a bit weird, but that's just how function pointers work in C++ and C. They're a bit weird. Basically, we're just dereferencing it and calling it. So picture it like that. It's just that we need to dereference it first. And sorry, I should have done that. Okay, cool. So that's the way that works. So I'm confused as to why this stuff is erroring us. Because it for sure shouldn't be. It's including that. It can find that, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's a bit weird. I'm going to just say that's Visual Studio, and we're going to ignore these errors because they should not be errors. Okay, anyway. Yep, so now what we do is we dispatch main. Okay, and then here we, so what we're doing is we're basically calling dispatch main with this argument, and this argument is our main loop that we created. Okay, so we're calling this with this argument when we want to start our main loop, and that's a pretty simple way to just let it begin. Okay, cool. There we go. So that's our main idea. Okay, so let's now that Emscripten's good, you should have got something called Emscripten command prompt. If we just run something like, it'll actually tell us over here, but if we were to run something like emsdk-v, apparently not -v, maybe it's just emcc-v. Yeah, it'll tell us all the stuff, and this will just run some sanity checks and make sure everything's set up properly. If you fail here, you've got a problem. So we are using Clang 3.5, which isn't 3.6, which I think is the latest, but doesn't matter. So let's navigate to our Sparky directory. And we'll be creating batch files that do all these things in a minute, not because obviously I don't want to keep retyping the commands. So this is our Sparky directory. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to let's paste that in there. what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, so in bin, this is where all of this stuff works. So in bin is where I'm going to create these batch files. So I'll make a batch file right now called build Sparky. Okay, so this will build the actual engine, and we'll make it a .bat. I know this stuff makes it kind of Windows only. Again, we're not, Ludum Dare is in like a day and a half. We're not going to be focusing on cross-platform stuff right now. We're just, because if it runs on the web anyway, we're good anyway, and then the Sparky tools will be cross-platform when they come out eventually after Ludum Dare. Okay, cool. So this is our batch file. Let's try a few things. So what we want to do is we want to kind of compile quite a lot of things. So we want to compile all of our files, essentially. The problem with this is it's actually going to be quite complicated because of the way that the Sparky is kind of set up. What I mean by that is we can't test part of it. We have to actually just compile everything and then hope that it works at the end. We can't kind of incrementally do this. So we should probably start with the start and actually, did we download? Okay, so this is FreeImage. There's Emscripten FreeType. Let's go to Emscripten FreeType. Let's grab source. That's really all we should need, I think. Source and probably include. Probably don't need include. I'll go to bin. I'll go to, we've got dependencies. Let's make a folder called FreeImage Emscripten. We have this stuff here. We should probably do stuff like include. Yeah, no, that's all good. Okay, so this is where we're going to build FreeImage. So I'll make a batch file here that does that. build free, sorry, yeah, free, this is FreeImage. Right, wait, no, that's FreeType. So let's rename the folder. We will be free imaging as well, don't you worry. So FreeType, that was FreeType, right? Yes, it was. Okay, and then we have to grab all the files that we need to compile, which is going to be ridiculous. Luckily, I've already composed a list of what we'll need. But if I just open this with Sublime Text real quick. So there's our FreeType.bat. So the way we do this is we call emcc, right? That's the Emscripten compiler, as you can see. We call emcc. We want to declare a, so if we hit D, it's going to declare a macro or something like that. So if we do something like Sparky Emscripten, for example, it's going to basically add a preprocessor definition. That's what the -D is. So we want to add, so what did we use to compile? I think we used something like ft2 build library. If we just go into our preprocessor, yes, there it is. So ft2 build library, we want to do that because we're building FreeType as a library. So we put that in there. Now the include directories, we'll have to, so that's an include directory. So we can just specify that by just using I. This is very similar to other compilers such as GCC or G++ or whatever you're used to. We can just pass that in as include. You don't have to use these quotation marks. I like to because it kind of separates I guess files from other things like flags, like in terms of syntax highlighting, so I like to use them. Yes, and then we dump our file list, so files.lol. This is going to be all of our files here. And then at the end, we need a few different flags as well. We want to use memory init file, and as I've said, I've experimented with this a lot. So I know what I'm doing. So we want to set memory unit file to 0. We want to enable optimization level 3, which is I think the maximum, so that it optimizes our code as much as possible. And then we want to output this, particularly this FreeType thing, as FreeType.bc, which is bit code. So this is basically how you compile. As I said, we are compiling, Emscripten is compiling all of our C and C++ code into JavaScript. We can output it as a BC, as a bitcode file. That's basically going to be like outputting a static library. So we can then be like, when we get around to compiling Sparky, we can use this FreeType.bc as an input file. So we'll have like all of our source code, such as Sparky.h is an example of what won't be compiled. But if we you know, all of our stuff gets compiled here, and then we also use this FreeType as an input, and we output it as like Sparky.html or something, right? That's the idea. So we output this as FreeType.pc, and then we have to compile all of our files. Now, luckily, I've done this before, as I said, and I've got this massive list of files here that I'm just going to copy and paste. So, again, this would have saved us a bunch of time. Basically, what I've gone through pretty much all the files we have. Let me just turn on word wrap. You can see there's quite a lot, and they're actually not relative to this correct directory. I did it in some other place. But these are all of the C files that we actually need to compile. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's go back here. Obviously, this is not the correct directory. It's just source. So we need to basically look for this in just the current file. Add current file, and we want to replace it with nothing. Replace. Okay, there we go. So those they are all of our files. You can see that's all in one line. It's just wrapping. And then at the end we memory in a file, whatever. That should be it. Hopefully this will work. Okay. I'm quite certain it will. So let's save that. You can see this isn't too bad. Again, FreeType is not a massive library, especially because it happens to include. Remember, these C files include other C files, so it's not that bad. FreeImage, on the other hand, is going to be a nightmare. Oh, we've still got Sparky. Oh, this was... Okay, FreeType GL. That's the other thing I wanted to compile. So let's go... So to get FreeType GL, we need to go back a directory. Go back another directory. So go back 2 directories. Step into Sparky core, ext... Oh, that's a nightmare. And then FreeType GL. Oh, well, we'll have to do that. So instead of this, we want to step back 2 directories. I'm using backslashes because we're on Windows. We want to step back. So where are we? We're here. So 1, 2, and then Sparky core. Yeah. So we're just stepping back an extra directory than what I've got. Replace. Okay, there's only 4. There's only 4 of them, by the way. So all we're compiling in FreeType GL. So, let's see, in ext, in FreeType GL, again, we've got like nothing. If we sort these by type, we've got 4 C files. That's exactly what I've added here, yeah? Platform, texture atlas, texture font, and vector.c. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I'm going through all the C files I need, and I'm adding them in here. It's just like using any other compiler from the command line. Okay, and in case you guys were wondering, no, you cannot use wildcards such as asterisks because those are dependent on your terminal, and Windows command prompt, for example, will not expand those. So if you were on Linux, you could use wildcards. We can't do that here, unfortunately. So you can't do something like asterisk.c or .cvp, unfortunately. Wish you could, because then it would make this much more simple. Okay, so now let's, we are not, so ls actually works in this command prompt, that's good. So let's step into dependencies, FreeType Emscripten. Okay, there's our bash file. So let's just run it and see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. Let's maximize this a bit. In fact, I might just make this much bigger for you guys. So, like 24. Don't worry about stuff like warnings, by the way. This should compile because, again, I got it straight from the GitHub Emscripten FreeType repository. So it's our thing. Okay, that's done. Looks like fantastic. So let's make this even bigger. And that's a bit too big for my comfort zone. 24. Yep, that is on my TV now. Okay. I'm actually going to go back to the original size. Apologies. What was the original size? Please take me back. Oh no, what have I done? I think it was this. It was definitely not that. Oh my goodness. What looks the most normal? 8x8? Oh, okay. Oh, defaults. Save me. Wait. So what was it? 18x12. Oh, 8x12. That's not it. Oh. 8x12. No. No. Just does not want to go back at all. Okay. Oh, that looks terrible. I've ruined my command prompt. Anyway, we'll have to deal with it. Whatever. Okay, so you can see that it's generated FreeType.bc. Okay, so if we pop over to our actual directory, you'll see that we've got in FreeType Emscripten, now we've got FreeType.bc, and it's at 1.3 megabytes. Okay, great. Now, we never have to compile this ever again. It's done. Okay, it's done. And what I'll do with Sparky as well, I'm not going to be able to do it this LaTeX because I'll be modifying the engine quite a bit, I imagine, during LaTeX. But if you didn't have to touch LaTeX, if you didn't have to touch the engine during your game making process, you can just have Sparky.bc and then just link that, basically. Link that. This JavaScript is weird. Anyway, link that and then everything would be the best. So that's good, we got that. So now the next thing we need to compile, and the only other library we actually need to compile is unfortunately the hardest library of all time, which is FreeImage. Oh, I'm scared. Okay, so FreeImage. Did we just get the source code? No, this is FreeImage. We've got all our include stuff. We just downloaded FreeImage, I believe. Let's grab that. There's a few things we might have to change. There are a few things we'll have to adjust, but we'll paste FreeImage into here for now, just to extract it. And then I'll grab, what? That is not the source code. What have I downloaded? Oh no. Back. FreeImage source. What did I download? Didn't I click source distribution? Pretty sure I did. What is this? No, this is the source distribution. Oh, it's here. Cancel. What if I don't know what's going on. Okay, source. We'll grab the source. We'll pop it into our dependencies, might as well. And then again, I'll make a batch file. I'll make a batch file for all my problems. Okay, we'll make a new, not a new folder. We'll make a batch file. em build FreeImage. So this is going to be the biggest one yet, and much bigger than our engine one. Let's pop this over here. So this we'll actually break this down into several different calls because it's just too big. So we'll compile. As you can see, FreeImage is split up into a lot of different modules, and we don't really need all of them, like freaking JXR, I don't even know what that is, but stuff like, or EXR, we don't need that stuff. Really, all we need is stuff like JPEG, PNG, we'll have stuff like TIFF, I guess. We don't really need all these advanced things, so I've gone through, so basically, like, I've gone through them and picked out exactly what we need. So, what we'll do is we'll grab, so we'll split this up into several things. So this is what I'll do. We'll call EMCC. This is quite old, so we'll actually use C8, what am I doing? The C89 standard. So this library is in C as well. Most of it is. And then we'll have to probably grab all our files. So I've already got the file list over here. Luckily, otherwise we'd be here all night. My goodness, there's a lot. So we'll compile libtiff4 first. So there's libtiff4, and that's in the source directory, and I think this stuff is actually relative, so we'll word wrap it once again. So source, libtiff4, and all these files. So these are all the C files we need. We'll compile them. Again, optimization 3, and we'll output them as something like FreeImage tiff.bc. There's quite a lot of them, so what I'll do is... no, we can just dump them here, it doesn't matter. Okay, that's it. FreeImage, tiff, and bc. I was thinking about putting them into a binaries directory, but... Actually... we do have bin. Yeah, we'll put them into bin. We'll actually delete these as well because we don't need them later. Anyway, that's that done. Now we'll use call because we'll actually use several. We'll actually use several things in this one bash file since we're generating just so much stuff, and then we'll compile them all into one at the end. Don't worry. This is just going to be a bit more organized. So the next thing we'll do is libopenjpeg. Again, here are the files. And again, we're doing the same thing, except this is a libopenjpeg. Okay, this is just the output file. You can name it whatever you want. Next, we'll do zlib, call emcc std c89. If we don't do call, by the way, if we just wrap them, it won't actually return control back to this. So once this finishes, it's like, oh, I'm done. I'm not going to continue this batch file. That's why it's important to do this. Okay, so zlib, right? That requires an include. So, whoops, source zlib. Does it require an include? I think it does. I think it's just this though. So it's just, yeah, source zlib. Okay. Oh no, wait. Wait a minute. No. Yes, so zlib, we need oh, that's right, yeah. So we'll do PNG now. I don't think we need to do zlib. But we do need to do PNG, and PNG uses zlib for compression. So, all of our PNG stuff. Again, optimization 3, and we'll output this as libpng. Okay, next up on our menu we have... So what else do we actually need, right? JPEG is probably not a bad thing, so we'll compile all of our JPEG stuff. Optimization level 3 clearly, and lib JPEG. Next up, yes, we do actually need zlib, so we'll compile zlib now. Zlib's quite small though. Isn't it just amazing how we can compile all these libraries like zlib and whatnot to just work in JavaScript? Like I can't get over it. I wouldn't believe it, but I've seen it with my own eyes, and I have to say it's ridiculous. Okay, let's compile FreeImage C as well. So I think we don't need that, yeah. So, and then next up we'll compile actual FreeImage, which is in C++. So this just requires source, because I think as an include directory, because I think it has, yeah, so this is this stuff. But I think all we need is source, where is it? Source, FreeImage, and FreeImage dot this thing. So is it FreeImage C.C? I think so. Yeah, it is. Oh, this is capital. And we'll just output that as same options as before. Okay. So that's that. Now this is the big one, because now we need to compile all of our stuff. So the flags we need are not debug, so n debug. We also need obj static. We need to use, we need to use FreeImage lib, and that's it. And we'll use C++11 for that. And then this stuff is obviously C++, not well, at source is an include directory as well. This stuff is obviously C++ and not anything else. It's not C. So we'll also have to have a few, and I think it's just Z. So is zlib is. I probably should have capitalized that just for it'll still work. Zlib. OpenEXR. I think it still needs that, even if just for the headers, even if we're not going to use it. OpenEXR half. There's a lot of OpenEXR stuff we need apparently. OpenEXR IEX. OpenEXR ILMIMF. Well, I don't even know what that is. We just need it as an include directory for all of our headers. iMath and ILM thread. Okay, so now all we need is the files. Is this correct? Yeah, that looks right. Okay, we need the files. So these are the files. Oh, there's so many of them. Okay, these are all the source files we need. As you can see, there's a lot. So yeah, we are doing stuff like EXR, by the way. This is a bit different than the actual open EXR and whatnot we had before. This is part of the core thing. This is part of the core library. Okay, optimization 3. We'll use this flag for everything, by the way. It seems to work pretty well as well, just to make our code faster. And this is FreeImage. We'll call it main.bc. Because, well, the reason I haven't just called FreeImage is because, well, the next thing will compile into that. Okay, and finally, this is the easy part, that if, provided this works, we'll have a bunch of BC files, clearly, that we've outputted. We want to gather all of them and compile them into just one file. So we'll start with the TIFF one, we'll just do them in that order. So call emcc, and we'll literally just take all these. So that, that's libpng, right? That, which is JPEG, zlib, FreeImage C, and this will just combine them. This will just link them, kind of, quote unquote, link them into two things. Okay, so just for some extra robust kind of settings, we'll pop on warn on undefined symbols. This will just ensure that we haven't missed anything, because as you can see, there's too many there's too many files and too many potentially undefined symbols. And then we'll output this as bin freeimage.bc. Okay, and so what we're left with after this, provided this works, and I really hope it does, is a bunch of essentially intermediates, right? A bunch of stuff that we don't need, and namely this stuff. So what we can do is grab all of them and just get, and we'll just remove them. So we'll call delete on each of these. And that'll just delete all the extra files that we used kind of as temp files, because we don't need them. So we'll get this stuff to clean up after itself. And that's it. Best. So there we go. I'm quite excited to see if this works or not. So what I'll do is we'll go over here. We'll clear this. We'll step into, this is FreeType, right? So we're in dependencies. So we'll go FreeImage. No. It is FreeImage. So FreeImage, which has our source directory now, Emscripten. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll, in FreeImage, I'll just take us into bin so we can see this actively being created and whatnot. And hopefully this works. Fingers crossed. And build FreeImage, let's see what happens. Warnings, we don't really care about warnings too much. It's our TIFF stuff. So as soon as that's done, we'll see the FreeImage-TIFF. Yay! Okay, that's done. So let's finish that one. We could have got it to echo something if we wanted to. Open JPEG's done. PNG's done. So only TIFF seems to have a lot of warnings. We're going well. As I said, it just works. It's magic. Oh, that's not. Oh, I forgot the C. Oh, all of that for nothing. Okay. So typo, we'll delete these. Oh, this is going well. So once we've done these, we've basically settled all of our dependencies, except for audio. Which is fine. Oof. Yes, so unfortunately, I know this. Unfortunately, zlib doesn't actually include something it needs. So, which one was that? So, lseek, and that was in which file? FreeImage, source, zlib, guts.h, and then we can just include a little something like, yeah, uni std. All right, best. So that should fix it. Okay, cool. So third time's the charm. Gonna compile this. It'll overwrite this stuff. Don't worry. Oh, this is the third time, right? Third time's a charm. Third time lucky. Whatever you want to say. Hopefully this will work out this time. We should probably start formulating our files, but I do want to see this stuff. We'll have to make a list of everything we need for Sparky. Okay, that's fine. Zlib, as you can see, was successfully completed, so it looks like we fixed that. Warnings, again, we don't really care about that. This is the last one, it looks like. Yeah, this is .cpp. So this is the last one, and then it's going to link them all together. And we're all good. My stream is telling me to put Nightbot into the stream, so I will do that. Probably so they can check the weather, because that's a great command I've got there. For those of you watching this on YouTube, by the way, catching these streams is very important, and it's quite nice. So you probably don't want to miss that. All right, stream. I've added Nightbot in. A lot of them are like, no, not Nightbot. Anyway, this is taking a while. Luckily, we never have to do this again though. Once it's been done. So Nightbot is informing my stream people that it's 13 degrees outside, and the humidity is 72%. Look at that. The wind is blowing from the south at 5 miles per hour. Nice. And the current humidity is, yeah, as I mentioned, 72%. Okay, cool. So there we go. So it's deleted everything. It's completed this FreeImage at 3.5 megabytes, or 3.33 megabytes, and it's definitely the best. So there we go. We've got this. So now we've got FreeImage.bc. We've got FreeType.bc. Now we just need Sparky.bc, or just our thing. So that's fantastic. So let's go into here. Again, I don't really remember what we need and what's not compatible. So we'll have to just kind of take this as it comes. Let me just look at our image load quickly. I don't think we need, so see, FreeImage and whatnot is just happening now. So all these things that we see in Angular brackets that aren't part of the standard C++ library, we need to actually include using the dash I or the -I include flag. So, or include directory flag. Okay, so what files do we need? So if we go over here into, this is the good thing about this view as well, it splits up source and whatnot. So if we look at pretty much actually anything.cpp, that's going to be so useless. Okay, in our actual files, these are basically all we'll need. So game, main, and tile layer, that's other stuff. Are we actually using tile layer? I don't think we were. I think we just made our own layer, didn't we? Layer, yes we did. Okay. So let's go through these. So we'll open this up again. We'll hop over into probably bin over here. That's where our thing is. So emcc std equals C++11. Okay, and now what we need to do is basically just include all our files, which will totally be the best. So so let's do that. We're in which directory again? Yes, we're in here. So we need to go back one and into Sparky core. Back one, Sparky core. Oh, why? Why? Get me back to details, please. Okay, so Sparky core. Whoa.
What is up, guys? My name is Cherno.
No. Sorry. Sparky core source. I guess we'll just kind of start with graphics. That seems important. We'll kind of go through these. I mean, we don't really have to do that though because of Visual Studio. And we don't really, so we won't compile sound for now. We'll start with graphics, so we'll go through this. So, Sparky core, this is in graphics and buffers and buffer.cpp, which I don't think we even use anywhere, but it doesn't matter. And I missed source. So Sparky core, source, graphics, buffers. Okay, cool. So there's one file. Next up we have index buffer. Next up we have vertex array. Next up we have group, and that's in layers. And layer. Okay, and then, oops. I think I'll just word wrap this. And then we have, under renderables, we've got label. So obviously stuff that's header does not need to be compiled. That'll be compiled when it gets included in a CVP file, obviously. Sprite. Okay, and then we just have batch renderer 2D. Font underscore manager, shader, texture, window. Okay, good. So then maths. Time for maths now. So mat4. Vec2. Vec3. Vec4. Okay, and then, oh good, we're almost done. We are pretty much done. Awesome. So source, game. That's it. This is it. That's it. That's all we need, I think. So We also want to have our other files though. So let's go into where are we compiling this from? Bin. Okay. So we'll go into dependencies, FreeImage, bin. We'll grab FreeImage.bc and we'll pop it into Sparky bin. We will grab FreeType, right? Which is in not here. It's just inside ext, I think. No, it's not. It is in dependencies. Yeah, FreeType Emscripten. There it is. I guess we'll make a new folder for the outputs called bin or something, or Emscripten. How about that? Although that will get created, won't it? If we do that, that might be confusing. I'll make a my right click menu time is too long. I'll make a web folder. How about that? Okay, so we need to FreeType.bc, FreeImage. So you can see we're just including them as if they were files, which is great. Well, they are files, as if they were source files and whatnot. I'll keep them like this just to differentiate them in color. We'll use glfw 3 because we're using glfw 3. We'll enable OpenGLES 3. And then we have to define a few things. So Sparky Emscripten is namely one of the things we're defining. And again, we'll memory init file 0. Okay, now we also need to embed any resources we're using. So what resources are we using? So let's see. Well, the font and the shaders. The shaders aren't going to work, by the way. Let's just, again, I'm just trying to get this to compile first. We won't embed any files yet. This won't work, but we'll output it into like web sparky.html. Again, I'm just trying to get this to work first. That was way too far. We're in bin. Okay, that could not be found. Interesting. So source graphics renderables label, huh? Source graphics renderables label. Oh, it's not in renderable. Well, renderables is in a folder. Oops. Game.cpp is in a folder now. I mean, isn't? Yeah, that's right. I think it's just in. Oh, where's game? Where do we put game? Oh, it's in examples. Third time lucky? Nope. Full ES31. Well, that is definitely not a file. I forgot the S. Okay, cool. So this is good because that's totally okay. Interesting that we're getting OpenGL stuff though. I mean SDL stuff though. Why are we including that? Where are we including that? Glue. What? Hang on. What is going on? Oh, because of the stuff that because of FreeType stuff. That should. And that's in font, right? Okay. Interesting. Because I'm pretty sure that should have worked. Where's our font? No, that seems legit. This is including FreeType GL. So what's going on? Looks like it's going into font line 5, which has to be that, right? Yep. So it's shooting off into this file. We might have to define some macros here. Oh, OpenGL. I bet that probably shouldn't be there. Wait. See, that's probably getting included or something. Okay, so if ndef Sparky Emscripten ndef. Okay, we'll wrap it in that. Oh, okay, good. Different error. So FreeImage.h was not found because, again, as I said, we have to include that as like an include directory. So where is that relative to where we are? Where are we again? Bin. So back at directory, dependencies, FreeImage, include. Yeah. Back directory, dependencies, FreeImage, include. Emscripten is fun. Okay, and then we'll probably get a bunch of stuff. Okay, this is okay, yeah, whatever. We'll probably get a bunch of things being like delete called on blah 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 that is abstract but has non-virtual destructor. So we should do stuff like give renderer 2D a virtual destructor. So it will help us probably write better code as well, which is always a nice thing. So let's go ahead and add a public virtual renderer 2D destructor, just like that. Okay, that'll make that thing go away, and then we'll tend to the errors in a minute, which are to do with our offset of operator, which is fine. We'll fix that. Okay, so as you can see, that warning went away. All right, so basically the idea is we don't want to use this. We just want to use vertex data and UV. So that's what we really should have done probably in the beginning, because that works with Windows as well, obviously. So that's in our batch renderer. So we'll get rid of this namespace kind of operator thing, and just go back to that. That'll totally work. Okay. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. This is the other thing. We can't use glmap buffer because that's not a thing in OpenGL ES3. So we have to use buffer subdata instead, but we can use a quick trick to not have to rewrite too many of our things again. So I'll basically do that in this example. So what we'll do first of all is I think we'll go into our header file here with an extra space here, and we'll say if Sparky. So we kind of have to rewrite a bit of our batch renderer, not too much though, luckily, otherwise it would lose too much of its speed or something. But we'll say if Sparky Emscripten is defined, we'll probably make another one of these called mbuffer base or something. Okay, now this won't actually change too much, right? When we do all this stuff in batch renderer, it won't, like, the only thing that will change, our goal with creating this, and the way I'm going to set this up, is that it's not going to affect, it's only going to affect stuff like begin. And see, this is why I created the Emscripten configuration, because it gives us nice highlighting, like, oh, this isn't available for us, this isn't available to us, and whatnot. So this submit thing is going to stay exactly the same. We're still affecting mbuffer. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to say, we'll still bind it, but we'll say if def Sparky Emscripten, and I did do an if def, not an if there. No, I did do an if. That probably still would have worked, but it was wrong. If def Sparky Emscripten, else, and if. So what we'll do is we'll set mbuffer equal to mbuffer base. Okay, so now it has our yeah, we need to obviously set up the mbuffer base though. So we'll do that here, I think. So mbuffer base is going to equal new vertex data. I think it's just max. What is it? Render max sprites. Times 4, because 4 vertices. Yes. Well, I didn't mean 4. I meant 4 of these. Right. Okay. Begin does its stuff and is important. So unmap buffer, we clearly don't want to do that. In fact, we don't need to do anything in the end. As we do. So we'll do our stuff in the end. We'll say if Sparky Emscripten else. So else we just do our normal business, which is that. But what we'll do is we'll bind our VBO. And then we'll basically change its data. So buffer sub data is something that I haven't introduced. Basically, it's the same. It's kind of the same as map buffer, except we give it data rather than just getting a pointer to the data. This is a bit. I don't like it as much, but we have to do it because OpenGL doesn't support map buffer. So the offset we give it is 0. The size is basically just going to be, and we can just calculate this by saying, because remember pointers deal in bytes, obviously, and this one's in bytes. We can just subtract mbuffer or mbuffer base from mbuffer to get the size we want. And then the data that we're going to pass through is, oh sorry, that's going to be wrong, by the way, this one, because there's 4 vertices. We'll fix that in a minute. Mbuffer, yeah, base. That's going to be our data that we pass in. So this has to be times the size of our vertices. So that's going to, yeah, because we want the bytes, because that's how many vertices that we have, and then that's going to be the size of them, which is going to be quite nice. And then we'll set it back to we'll reset it back to what it's supposed to be there. Okay, cool. And the best thing is, that's it. That's all we do, because now what this has done is buffer subdata is it's loaded up our buffer, which is our VBO with the correct data, and then that's it. That's all it does. We've kind of made a wrapper around how data gets transmitted. Instead of using that, it does that, and that's it. But we still kind of do the same deal, as in we give it the data and it's based on this map buffer kind of thing, but we're basically turned it into, as you can see, we've written it in a way that isn't really API specific, which is good. It lets us do cool stuff like easily change it. All right. Okay, what's up? Oh, yes. So BGR isn't actually a thing. I forgot about that. That's where it's in texture. So good, we fixed everything in Bash Renderer. So texture. So BGR is not a thing, unfortunately. You can see RGB is totally there, but BGR just isn't in the GL3 thing. So we'll have to get FreeImage to convert this into RGB. So remind me, otherwise clearly our thing is going to look wrong. Also, since we're not using FreeImage as a DLL anymore, we need to actually so since we're not using FreeImage as a DLL anymore and it's not being dynamically loaded, we need to initialize it ourselves. Again, remind me to do that, otherwise our textures won't work. Okay, we're making progress. Again, as I said, longest episode ever, but lols. Okay, cool. So these callbacks are going to fail us. That's totally alright. We'll just take the prototypes, which are these things, and pop them at the start of the implementation file. I'm not sure why Emscripten's a bit sad about friends, but yeah. Come on. Do your magic. You can see how long this is taking. I like that. It's just because it's silently just working, which is amazing. I really, it's one of the most impressive things ever. Honestly, this thing. Let's see if it outputs our stuff. If it does, I'm going to be quite happy. If it doesn't, I'll probably still be forgiving because we'll get it to work. Wow, this is taking a while. It does not, I'm pretty sure, I've compiled this before, not this particular version of Sparky, an earlier version of Sparky, but it doesn't usually take this long. Maybe it's because I'm streaming or something, I don't know. Maybe it's just trying to build suspense. That's probably it. It knows that there are a number of people watching. So it's like, oh, I want to be best. Wow, yeah, it must be working again, I guess. What was the other thing? So audio was the thing. Okay, what are we missing? So file embedding we're missing. Is that it? Yeah, I think so. A few more things about this. Yes, so our files will have to be embedded into JavaScript, which is fine. That's actually surprisingly it's the best way to do it. So it'll basically take all of our like binary files, for example, like our PNG images, and just I'm pretty sure Emscripten just puts them into an array of like values. But obviously JavaScript doesn't have any like byte size things. That's totally fine. Sound manager. Where are we using that? That's fine. That should be fine. We have to, that's fine, that's expected because we didn't compile our sound manager, but I'm surprised that it's using that somewhere. Alright, what is that going to open it in? What is that program? And what is that program? Weird. Open with brackets maybe, I don't know, Google Chrome. Here it is. Oh, exception thrown. Let's take a look at that. Oh, why are you over here? Console. Yeah, so it is that. Oh, an FT error. Yeah, so our font is probably not there. So we need to add our font and whatnot. What I'll do is, this is inside bin, isn't it? I'll make a... I'll make a resources folder, which will have all of our stuff. So, let's see. Source Sans Pro, that's what we use, right? Paste that in there. We'll also need stuff like shaders, obviously. Come on, work. Why is that? Oh man, it's like my SSD is cold or something. Thank you, goodness me. Okay, yeah, so that's, what were we... Oh, window was doing it, obviously. Sound manager init, which happened inside window. Obviously. Okay, that's alright. I forgot about that. So, what we'll do is, we should really be compiling sound and sound manager. What I'll do for now is, they'll work a bit differently. Oh, we might as well just set them up, I think. This stuff still works the same way. So we'll wrap it in these things. And again, we'll write JavaScript to take that place, probably, well, as soon as we get everything else working. We can do stuff like this outside, stuff that's common to everything. which is what I'm trying to do here. So we haven't put any code, obviously, for Sparky yet. I just figured this might look better than just doing if and def everywhere. I don't know how gain is going to work in JavaScript. That might not work. We'll see, though. These callbacks aren't really going to work either. Not sure how good this API will be in JavaScript, because I'm quite sure that this is not as powerful as it is. Yeah, I'm quite sure that JavaScript audio stuff is not as powerful as Gorilla Audio, so that might be a problem. Cool. Yeah, so that should be pretty good for sound. I don't think there's any other API. Okay, this is... Oh, it's undefined. Okay, yeah, because that's that. Okay. Sound Manager. So this stuff can be if and def. And then this stuff will be if def. No, this will be, yeah, because we have to do it and the other thing as well. Else. Yeah. Yeah, as you can see, most of this stuff is pretty much the same. It's just the underlying API is different. See, what I should have done actually is just made another sound manager file. Oh, this was a bit stupid, yeah. I should have just made another sound. It's just that we still needed to change the headers, to be honest. But instead of doing this, I could have just made another sound manager file, being like sound manager underscore js.cpp, which would do that. And then based on, I just compiled the appropriate one I need. In fact, I probably should have done that. Anyway, doesn't matter. I was caught in the heat of the moment. So we'll do that. We'll add that stuff. So this is in source, audio, sound, and source audio sound underscore manager. Okay, and then we need to embed our stuff. So how can we embed things? Well, glad you asked, because it's really quite simple. So all we have to do if we want to embed things is use a little something called embed. We can either use embed file or preload file. Embed file I've had more luck with, especially because it doesn't require an actual server. It'll work locally as well. So what we need is, so we'll do this over here. So embed file. Now the great thing is this does work with directories, so it'll embed all the files in a particular directory. So we'll do something like embed file. Let's close some of these things. And the stream crashed, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Anyway, everything in our resources directory will get put in there. So that does mean, though, that we need to change all of our paths. So in Window, for example, this source sans pro light or whatever, this path, does need to be changed into res / okay, and whatnot. So we'll have to do that to our shaders and whatnot as well if we want them to be in there. So are there any other files that we load? I don't think there are. That's probably about it that the actual engine loads. The rest are just in game, right? So stuff like this. So we'll change this. So we'll change this to be res / shaders, and we'll have to make them OpenGL ES3 compatible in a minute, but we'll load these in at least and see what it says, because it will be like it failed, but at least we get to see that. Were we loading a texture here? I think we were. Yeah, the texture was TB, so we'll change that to res/TB, and that's it. And I guess I'll do that as well. Probably could have just macroed that part, but whatever. This is probably a bit cleaner. Okay, so that's good, and you can see that's all we need to do. So we need to move in our shaders, which is in source shaders, into bin res, and we also want to or need to move in our TB, right? Yeah. This is ridiculous. I don't know what is up with my computer. Thank you. Okay. So, where projects, Sparky, and what was it? TB thing. So tb.png bin res. Man, this is awful. Time to get a new computer. Start the Cherno fund now. Alright. So now it's embedding file res, and it will embed everything in res, and that looks like an extra space there. Yeah, it is. Let's get rid of that. Yeah. Okay, anyway, well, it looks like we're done. So, back out here, let's see what our new success is. So, this is only 2 meg, 2 meg. What? Surely that's wrong. When was that generated? A minute ago. What? That is way too small. Whenever I did it before, it was like 15 meg. Look at this, right? What is wrong with my hard drive? It's an SSD, and it's clearly running Windows okay, otherwise stuff will be, or is it? Oh, weird. Anyway, let's just, oh my goodness. Open with, choose default program, Chrome please. Okay, good. I say good because it looks like everything's working. So, yes, so it looks like, okay. So it says, as you can see, it failed to compile vertex shader, core invalid version directory. We're going to have to rewrite our shaders, as I said, but everything else is good. So text image width or height out. This is a bit different. Text image 2D width or height out of range. So we'll deal with that once this comes up. So let's rewrite our shaders. This is going to be fun. So, what I'll do for our shaders, just for now at least, is I'll write them in here. Actually, I was going to write them in some other place, but I'll do them here. So shaders, we're going to take these, we're going to copy them, and we're going to paste them, and that probably won't even work. Show me where these are, please. So we'll copy paste these. It'll take 2 hours with my apparently very damaged SSD. I should probably, do a backup of my computer before everything crashes. Basic, and we'll call this basic.es3.frac. So ES3, of course, embedded systems 3 or OpenGL ES3. Okay, so these are our 2 new toys. Shaders. Let's include them in project. Pop them into here and start operating on them. So what really needs to change is a lot of things. Unfortunately, so this stuff isn't a thing. Let's get rid of the version first of all. So I'll try and rewrite these shaders to be about the same, but then just unfortunately not going to be. So, yeah. It's a bit annoying that we have to do this because you will have to do this yourself when you make these games, but it's fine. So we'll change this to be attribute high precision, high P. And instead of in, obviously it's an attribute. In is the equivalent of attribute. Well, in this case, in can also be varying, which is what we use between things. If you've done any kind of old school OpenGL stuff, then this stuff will ring a bell. We need to set these things to be high P. We can get rid of this. Well, we have to get rid of this. I don't think it allows uniforms to be default. Like what are these things? Lol. We need to get rid of that. We'll probably just prefix these with stuff like VS position, just because that'll make it easier. And these are varying. So varying is the same as out from a vertex shader and in from a fragment shader. Varying means between shaders. It lets us access variables and whatnot between shaders, and we'll set them to be high P as well. Okay, cool. Everything else is pretty good. So unfortunately, I think we're not actually setting these to. We'll get rid of these for now because remember, now that we've set them to not be initialized, they'll be 0, which means this will be 0 and won't get anything rendering on the screen and we'll be annoyed. So we'll get rid of that. ML matrix, yeah, we'll just keep that as position for now. We'll bob these back later, but I'm just testing this stuff out. Oh yeah, VS out obviously isn't a thing. It's just VS.position. Or VS underscore position rather. Or, well, VS underscore whatever. And that's probably it for this. So let's go to our fragment shader. Change this to be varying. So these are going to be inputs now. Varying, they have to have the same name. But varying high P, and then VS. So these are coming from the vertex shader. Now the biggest thing that's, okay, so you can't have outs from here, unfortunately. You have to go and use GL frag color, which is an old thing. Now, the most annoying thing is you can't use arrays of, that's really the truly annoying thing, you can't use arrays of textures like this. So what we unfortunately have to do, and I know this is so annoying, we have to just go uniform, sampler 2D, texture 0, and all that good stuff. For all of our textures. I kid you not, this is incredibly annoying. And honestly, if anyone has a better way, let me know, because, yeah, so we'll do 8 textures for now. And you guessed it as to what we're going to have to do here. First of all, let's calculate our lighting using VS position. Yep. So that's good. Text color equals VS color, which is here. Okay, so this still stands, but the only thing we're doing is instead of selecting our text color just from using an index, we have to basically be like if TID equals 0. And now there's an integer though, at least it'll be precise and we won't miss things due to precision errors. Then we're going to go VS color times so texture 2D is what we have to use, and then texture 0 and VS underscore. Else if, or elif, I hate that. Else if, we'll do 1, and you guys get the pattern. So fun times I had in Shaderland. One more, 7. So this should theoretically work with 8 textures right now. Again, if you want more, just add more. I'm just, in the interest of time, I'm not doing that in here. Yes, we should probably preserve the alpha as well, but that's something different, and we won't even do that in our other shader. We'll do that later. Okay, that should be it, I think. So we obviously need to set these up now. So in our, I think our layer does that, right? Yeah. So instead of this is what happens if it's not Sparky Emscripten. If it is, it's a different story, because we have to go shader set uniform 1i texture 0 0. So I guess it's not too bad. Like from a performance standpoint, I imagine it's quite a bit worse because of all that branching. But from a this kind of point of view, again, this is the engine code anyway. You don't care about that when you're writing a game, and your game really is not any different because the renderer takes care of all this stuff anyway. Okay, cool. Yes, so let's go back to game. Have it go basic dot es3 dot vert and es3 dot frag. Let's copy. So I guess we don't. Yeah, we'll take these two. I guess we don't really need those anymore. Copy these. It'll take a while. Okay, here we go. This is I have to say, this is going relatively well. Because it's one of those things that could just not work and be very stubborn. I mean, it's not really usable. And by usable, I mean, like, it's not really running yet. It will. I promise. This is taking a while. I suspect it's because of my weird SSD issues that have just arisen today. So, yeah. My hard drives are pretty full. You don't want to know. Like, you probably don't want to know. That's a USB drive, so that's external. But these are pretty full. I mean, I just keep buying more. So I bought this 3 terabyte one about half a year ago, and it is maybe a year ago, and it's kind of filling up. But everything else is just like, oh, I'm out of space in my 2 terabyte one, I'll buy a new one. I'm out of space in my one. So it started with this one. I'm like, I'm out of space in my 1 terabyte one, I'll buy a 2 terabyte one. I'll buy a 3 terabyte one. I guess the next one is 4 terabyte, but I've got some time. Anyway, yeah, so sorry for people watching on YouTube. I was talking to the stream. They were like, "How full are his hard drives, man?" I should set up some kind of NAS though, definitely. Because yeah. Anyway, I just haven't had the opportunity to. No time. Okay. Where are we? We're in here. So bin web. Let's just see this work now. Hopefully. Nope. It's still 1282ing. So let's just see what the Chrome log is telling us. No valid shader. Okay, so something wrong with our shaders. No precision specified for float, and that's in our fragment shader 20. Okay, so I accidentally forgot a high P somewhere. In line 20, was it? What? I'm pretty sure. Do I need that? Oh, I can just. Yeah, that's right. Precision, high P, float. So this means all the floats we declare are kind of going to be high P. Unfortunately, we have to wait quite a bit for this to recompile. So when you're making the game, right? When you're making a Sparky game, the idea is you only compile it. And I know it's annoying that you have to add all this stuff. Again, eventually there will be tools that do this stuff for you, so you don't have to do it. You can probably manually add a few files that you've used and whatnot, and it'll set up this batch file for you and do it automatically behind the scenes and output you with an HTML file or something like that. I don't know, with a JavaScript file. I don't know, something. So there will be a bunch of Sparky tools that actually do that in the future. Right now, obviously, time is of the essence, and Ludum Dare is in a day and a half, so I'm not going to start writing tools now. Okay, let's try this out. Okay, more errors. See if it's still shader errors. Yep. That's weird. Oh, no, that's because I'm obviously an idiot. I was modifying the ones in here. Highly modified frag. So let's not do that. That was a waste of time. Look at this SSD performance. My goodness. I'm pretty sure it's a Patriot, like Patriot Pyro or something on those lines. SSD. I've got two SSDs actually. One of them isn't even in use. It's sitting there and I'm pretty sure it's disconnected and it's actually double the size of my main one. Oh, look at this right-click performance. I think it's time for me to build a new computer, honestly. Because the one I'm using right now I built in 2012, at the end of 2012. So it's almost 3 years old. Was it at the end? It probably wasn't at the end, probably like mid. It's 3 years old, which is decent, but like, probably time for a change. Because the one I built before that was in 2010, so that was only 2 years old before I ditched it. This is now 3 years old, but the thing is, it's good enough for most things. Oh, my people are catching things that I'm not doing. Yes, that's wrong. Let's change that in here as well. Oh, no. Look at this. This is so ridiculous. Oh, I'm blind. Let's just do a search for FS in. Okay, now it's gone. More water. Honestly, I'm not sure if I want to do audio in this episode because it's so long. But the problem is I have to do it in some kind of episode. I'll probably just do it during London Dare. Nah, it probably won't be too long, right? To do audio. I don't know. I haven't tried doing it in JavaScript before, like with Emscripten and whatnot. So we'll see. Let's hurry up with this, though. This is taking longer than expected now. Oh, okay. So it's... Oh, okay. So it looks like our FPS is working perfectly, as you can see. Look at that. How cool is that? It's like running inside here now. Our thing isn't there, and we've got 2 OpenGL errors. But our thing isn't there. Our image and whatnot. So that's interesting. But you can see that's there. So first thing we can do to diagnose this quickly is just simply set up this to output something like white, and then we can see if the actual geometry is being drawn. And by geometry I probably meant something like vertices. But yeah, how cool is that? How cool is that? It's running inside a web browser. Best. Cherno.best. Oh, I wish this would be faster. Whoops. Okay, good. So it's rendering both the... You can see it's rendering that. So it's probably just the texture or something that's not being rendered correctly. Let's go back and change this to this. So, texture. Interesting. What could be going wrong? I wonder. Is it complaining about anything in the actual console? Let's check that. Because that I trust more. Oh, here we go. Not renderable. Range out of... Okay, so there's that. Range out of bounds for buffer. That is interesting. Oh, no, that's... I know why that is. So text image 2D width and height out of range. Oh, okay. Well, we're not initializing... as I said, we need to initialize FreeImage. Well, that's probably why. So, because it was doing it automatically when we were loading the DLL. On DLL load, it was initializing the FreeImage library. Now that we're not loading it as a DLL, we're just compiling it. We need to do that ourselves. So, we'll do that in window. And then the other error we had, which was the out of bounds for draw thing, I know why that is as well. Don't you worry, I've got this. I've got this in the bag. Now that we're getting something rendering, textures won't be a problem. So if Sparky Emscripten, yes. So if Sparky Emscripten will include FreeImage, because we only really need to do this if we're Emscriptening. So here when we do the sound manager in it, we'll say if def that. FreeImage initialize. Oh look, they spelt initialize like the cool way, the English / Australian / Canadian way, or at least I think that's. I don't know about Canada. I think they do that. Anyway, I'm pretty sure. Are we back to our usual shaders? Yes, we are. This is exciting. This could be it, by the way. It could just work now with our textures and everything. I made a second if def. I'm answering a stream question right now while this stuff is happening. Ooh, here we go. Here we go. Let's see if it worked anyway. What exactly? We are doing free image, right? Yeah, we are. Oh, scary. Yeah, it didn't work. Oh, that is not good. So I'm guessing it couldn't find static. Did I miss something in FreeImage? Sounds like I might have. Oh, not good. Unresolved symbol. Not fun. Let's go to our batch. Build FreeImage and take a look. I don't want to debug this. This will be great. Okay. So, here's what we'll do. We'll take a look at the errors a bit better. So, what seems important here? How about... Well, what couldn't find? Oh, it's alright, we already closed that. Just like, I don't know, this, for example. Let's just grab that. And then let's... here's what I'll do. We'll come over here, we'll create a new window. And what was I doing? Yes, where's FreeImage? Source. Let's search. Open folders. So open folders, we'll search for that. Great. What? Okay. These are probably quite... oh. What I suspect is happening is it's probably... Where's FreeImage? It's probably loading a few plugins that we didn't compile. Okay, so stuff like Koala for the Comedy 64, or I should say Commodore 64. We don't need that. I don't know what we need and what we don't. We'll try a few things. Oh, well, we don't need freaking raw. We don't need WebP. These are slightly in alphabetical order, it seems, very loosely. So let's get rid of EXR and JXR. And we haven't included yes, EXR. Okay, good. Maybe. Let's see what happens. Let's CD into dependencies. I think we need utils as well. FreeImage. Where are the utils at? Because the reason we're going to need utils is because we're going to have to swap stuff around as utilities. I don't know what that actually uses though. Wait, what's this? Yeah. Because we're going to have to swap, since there's no such thing as BGR, we have to basically swap our red and blue channels when we load the thing. Okay, let's just try that. Okay, so now we'll get a new copy of FreeImage, and then we'll have to recompile the other thing, and everything will be the best, hopefully. We'll probably have to compile this as well. But we'll see. I'll probably open another Emscripten command prompt so that we don't have to... Oh, here it is. Thank you. Okay, so CD... And I'll open another one of these. Sparky, bin... Yeah, just so that we can run this. We'll wait for that. Okay. Anyone else excited for this very, very this very, very suspenseful moment of whether or not this will work. This takes so long. Oh, it's almost done. I know this because of the many BC files that's about to just delete. Longest episode ever. It's going to be like 2 hours. And we haven't even done audio yet. My goodness. This is going to take a year to render. Don't even know if I'll be able to put it up in time for Let 'em Dare. Okay, cool, done. Now we take this. Oh, that is now smaller. Is it? No, it's not. It's bigger. No, it's the same size. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess it would be. We didn't actually change the inputs, I just realized. We commented some things out. Hopefully this will work. Because if it doesn't, we're going to have to wait a really long time if I forgot to remove a plugin. So convert to RGBF is missing, and something about half. I don't think we might not need them unless we get a lot more unresolved symbols. I think we're good. Yes. Okay. Will this work? Will this not work? No one knows. Ugh. It works. So our colors are flipped, but it works. We've got a 1282 error. It's fine. Look at that. Look at that. It's working. The colors are all wrong, but it's working. Amazing. This is the game that we had. Oh, that frame rate dropped. Okay, it's back up. So we need to switch that. So that's fine, because all we need to do is, and again, that's because we couldn't use BGR. We had to use RGB, as you can see in texture. Oh, it's alright. We'll do that for everything. So, what we have to do is basically flip it. So if we include, here's what I'll do. So there's this thing called utilities, but unfortunately it's not in the FreeImage. It's really quite weird. It's not inside include, as you can see. So it's inside here. So I'm just going to grab that, go into include, make a new folder, which will take forever. We'll call it FreeImage just so the includes look better. Otherwise, it'll just be like utilities, and we'll pop that in there. So now, what we should be able to do, and what we should be able to do is just be like, I want FreeImage / utilities.h, and there's something in here called red, like to green or red and blue switch. Yeah, swap red, blue, 32. So you can see swap red and blue channels in a 24 or 32-bit dib. So it'll swap the red and blue channels. So once we load these things, see there's this nice space here. We'll go, actually I forgot what it's called. Was it swap or switch? Swap. So swap red, blue, 32, dib, and that's it. That's all we have to do. And then we don't have to load it as the other thing. Yeah, that's going to error us and whatnot. That's fine. You can do that. We don't care. It's a header only library that's getting included somewhere else. Okay. This looks like the final build because everything seems to work. Okay. Those unresolved symbols do not bother me one bit. I'd love to know where the unresolved sorry, not the unresolved external, I don't care about that. The 1282 we're getting is coming from. Because 1282 is generally no laughing matter. They can't bring down the Cherno ship, but yeah, colors are correct. So yes, look at that. It's the same thing that we had here. I'm launching it in Emscripten mode. Stop, you're going to not work. Stop. I cancelled it. Release. So as you can see, this thing, which was running, we should probably have a little bit of ambient light, otherwise it's like you can't see anything. Pretty cool. Oh, build errors. What's this? Swap red, blue, unresolved. Where is that in? Utilities, I don't even know. That's in like some metadata thing, isn't it? That should totally be there though. Swap red, blue. Well, we can just say if def, at least for now, Sparky Emscripten. So we'll just say BGR. Just to be all cool and lazy and whatnot. And then it'll work. Okay, so there you go. You can see the same game is in here. How cool is that? It's really cool. So there we go. Everything's totally the best now. So, except for audio. So, what time are we at? I'm probably going to have to end the episode here because it's like 2 hours long. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. The next one will be about audio. I'm probably going to have audio in. I'm probably going to add in audio during Ludum Dare. So, it's not going to be something that I do now. I might add it before Ludum Dare. But I'm really short on time. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. As you can see, we're running inside a web browser, which is amazing. Leave any comments you might have below. Ludum Dare is this weekend, of course. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Whoa.